Hey guys, JH, welcome to Practice Tee. As usual, Practice Tee is a facsimile of the surface of the sun. Only I think it out-heats the sun. Hence I've got the big broad hat today, guys. I've just been getting fried lately. I go home sometimes and my wife says I look like I've been in a broiler. And I've been under the gun from my wife as well. She's been watching the videos a bit and she said, "Dear, you have to speak slower and more precisely." So I'm under instructions. Okay, just a couple of things. And the other thing she said was, don't keep walking out of the camera all the time. Well, I'm sorry, dear, but I had to. Guys, just a couple of things with Davinci. A few guys have said with the short irons that they hitting the other longer clubs okay, but the short irons were giving the occasional shank. Or the miss-hit. Now I can tell you why that happens really, or 99% of the reason. And that is with the short shot, with a short duration shot, it's very hard to get the confidence to get that club going very quickly. Of course it'll feel jerky, it'll feel short and jerky. But what creates the shank, guys, is that because the swing is very, very short in duration, the hands become very, very lazy and almost dormant over that range. There's not a lot of velocity going there because the swing is not very long. So what you've got to do is you've got to create the velocity, the inertia, the release. You have to do it with the shorter shots, with more aggression and commitment. To the extent, guys, that just hit a couple of shots. Say you're going to hit just a little, this is an 8 iron, but if you're going to hit just a little pitch shot, just get it here. I mean, honestly, that contact is so good. That is just brilliant. And you know what, guys? I'm thinking I'm going with that head almost on the backswing. On the backswing, I'm almost throwing the club away as a feeling. I'm trying in my mind to conjure up the release going while I'm going back. I'm getting the club going. That's how late the majority of people, or the majority of players, are with the release on a short shot with Davinci. Now that's a tiny little golf swing, but the hit on that is just, that's like 3/4 distance 8 iron. With that tiny little, because the release is so vigorous, so committed. You can't, I'll tell you why you can't shank a short shot like that if you release it. When I used to have a lot of people come to me over the years, and hundreds of people came in who were afflicted with shanks. And I've got to tell you, guys, I had a 100% record, with the exception of one guy, and I'll tell you the story about that later on. He deliberately kept shanking because he wanted to prove that I couldn't fix everybody. But we became great friends later on, but he did it deliberately. But that's another story. But guys, all I used to do and get people to do, if they were somebody who were hitting shanks on little shots, I just say, guys, think about this. All I want you to do on your little shot is just release the toe of the club around the hosel. Just shut the toe of the club through the ball. Now, if you think about that, if I'm releasing the toe of the club, I'm taking the hosel away from the ball. I'm getting the middle of the club in and the hosel's moving away from it. I'm not presenting the hosel to the ball. I can't present the hosel to the ball if I'm releasing the toe. And that's all I used to get people to do with shanks. If they were, because most people shank, even good players, will shank from the inside out. Byron Nelson went through about 6 months of that when he converted to a change in shafts or clubs, and that's because he wasn't releasing the club. He said, I couldn't feel the head, and I just couldn't release it properly. And all I used to do with people, guys, was just, if you were a shanker, I'd just say, guys, come in and just do this. Finish like that. You know what? I've never seen anybody that can shank a ball with that configuration of golf club, where the toe is past the hosel. That's just simple dynamic geometry in the way a golf club's constructed and the way we apply a golf club to the golf ball. If anybody, just as an aside, anyone who's a shanker, guys, you'll get rid of the shanks immediately, instantaneously, if you just think about having a very aggressive toe on the shot. Just do that. You can't shank the ball if you do that. Impossible. How can you shank it? The hosel's moving away from the ball. I mean, I don't know why people, never picked up on that before, but I used to have 100% record with shankers, and I got a lot of business. It was all over Sydney. Anybody that had the shanks, go and see JH, because he'll fix you. Now, with the short shot with Davinci, guys, it's exactly the same. We haven't got the shanks, but because we're not presenting the golf club with full release, we will tend to just bring it in a little bit like this and block it. At the end of the day, guys, Davinci is full release, in to out with closed shoulders. So just think, if you're having trouble with it, just get it here and just release it so fast. Whoa! That's the secret of Davinci, guys. You've got to release this golf club so much earlier than you think is possible to release the golf club. You just got to do that. I mean, that's what it's about. And if you can carry that right through the game, right through every shot, and the longer the club, the more aggressive you've got to be. Now, Mike Austin is my hero. Mo Norman and Mike Austin. Mike Austin had the most powerful golf swing and the best mechanics of anyone that's ever played the game. Because Mike Austin wanted to do that. He wanted to get the golf club going. Mike Dunaway, his protege, later on in life. I mean, Mike Dunaway was the longest hitter in golf. And that's what they did, guys. There was none of this stuff. They were always this stuff. In Mike Austin's swing, it was fire the golf club, but fire the right side as well, or the trail side. But that's conventional golf swing. With Davinci, we're not doing that. Well, we're coming out to the ball, but we're not driving so much off that trail leg. But JH, don't get away from the point here. The point is the guys who are experiencing problems with the short shots, guys, just release it so much quicker. What could be simpler than that? Just get that club head going quicker than you think you can possibly. Get this feeling. Think you want to do that. It's that simple. Okay, that's for guys that are having trouble shanking the golf ball with Davinci on the short shots, or hit it indifferently. Even if you're coming in and not getting a good strike, guys, it's because you're not getting there. You're not getting this handle pointing back to you. Now you think about that. The only way you can get that handle pointing back to you is if you fire that head. You'll never get the handle pointing back to you if you're going like that. The handle will always be going away from you. So that's a good thing about Davinci. The mechanics are sort of external to internal to core. I mean, they can't do anything other than what you program them to do. If you program them correctly, they will perform correctly. Now, someone asked me on the channel, by way of a post, if I could do the golf swing in ultra slow motion to show the action. Well, guys, I won't do it by way of video, a slow video. I'll just do it a la Ben Hogan. Remember Ben Hogan did that amazing slow motion process, physical slow motion of his golf swing? Well, I'm going to do the same with Davinci. And this is basically it, guys. We get in this position here. We get our gunslinger here. We get this buttressing effect here off this lead leg. And as I said in the last video, guys, you can take the club back this way if you want to. Or you can take it this way. It's up to you. If you take it this way, you're taking it off the swing plane. If you take it that way, you're on the swing plane, or a little bit under it if that's possible. But you certainly won't be over it. Oh, you will be over it a little bit, because that's the swing plane. As we know, the swing plane goes there, and we don't swing on that. I mean, I don't know how you'd ever hit a golf ball swinging like that. I'm always up for a challenge. Why don't we try that just while I'm here? Just give it a go, JH. Just try and swing the club around there, in that plane. Well, that was the feeling, but I bet I wasn't anywhere near that. But that's just an ultra low radial head drag. I mean, we got away with it. It wasn't a great shot, but I mean, you can't hit it like that. But why would you want to hit it like that? Anyway, I digress. Again, my wife says that I'm a great digresser. I miss my calling in life. I should have went to university and got a degree in digression. I probably could have got a double PhD. There's such a thing. Okay, guys, so Davinci is this. Side on. We're loaded left here. All we're going to do is this. Once we're here, we'll do it front on first. See this here? This is the feeling. It's what we want to do. To activate. And my activation feeling, guys, is just that this moves a little bit. This hip moves a little bit. This elbow moves a little bit. So from that point of view, to isolate the feeling, that's what it feels like. And I've got this sort of, not a straight line relationship, but certainly not an angled shaft relationship there. Here, and I've got this here. So we're here, we're set up here. So once we start, we just push it away. Get the club going away. Club face is looking at the ball. Looking at the ball. Elbows here. Here. Start the push back off that front foot. Push back. Start the throw. 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 Here. Let the club go over here, but keep the hands inside the shoulder line. Club can go over here, but keep the hands inside the shoulder line. The club will, your body will rotate after you've hit it, clearly, but keep it here. Now there's a lot of torque in a golf swing like that. I can feel that foot wanting to really unload. And actually, because rubber spikes don't give you a lot of traction, as we know, and particularly on long grass like this. But I'll do that again, guys. Now, if you want to put that trail foot, point it that way, point it that way. The other thing is, see how these shoulders are preset? They are preset now. I'm going to start here, 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 push back, fire out, fire out, fire out. That's good for me, because I can feel a lot of things isolating themselves there that I probably haven't felt before. And we're lucky today, guys. It's hot, but there's a nice breeze blowing. So that's interesting. Now, this way, guys. Here I am here. But see the shoulders, look, the shoulders are, I don't know, 40 degrees closed. That's the feeling. And the good thing about having those shoulders in that position there, I've almost got that shoulder level with the ball. Look. I don't have to move it much, and it doesn't move much. Look, the arms move, look. Club head moves, the shoulder only moves another 10 degrees. Now I've got a good shoulder turn, but my hands haven't gone past the height of my shoulders. They don't have to go past there, ever. So it's not the height of your hands in the backswing, it's the amount of coil you can get into that backswing. Okay, now with Davinci, you're not going to be a long driver. You won't win the Remax long drive with Davinci swing. All long drivers are here. They're all here. Man, I wish I could get there. But the thing is, you wouldn't hit the golf course very often. At least with Davinci, you'll be hitting most of the fairways and most of the greens. So we'll do that once more. So here we are. That shoulder's in there. Put that foot out. I've got a fair bit of pressure on the inside of that knee there. Got a fair bit of pressure there. It's a transverse diagonal sort of loading. Here we are here. In our race cars, we used to have transverse diagonal loading from front wheels to rears through the chassis, depending on the tracks we were racing on. Particularly on the oval tracks, we used to have a lot of transverse diagonal loading, and I feel that. I feel like I'm transverse diagonal here. So here we are, guys. Look, as I get here, I do that. Look, and see, I get this here. Try this. Look, just try that here. Push back. I said in the last video as well that it's up to you how you structure this personally. We're all built different. We all have different degrees of flexibility, physicality, ranges of motion, horizontal and vertical centers of gravity. So we're all going to operate differently. No one's going to look like me, and I wouldn't want anyone to look like me. I wouldn't force that on anybody. But the basic core principles is all we need to have, guys. Now, when I mentioned the other day about increasing the pressure in the grip because of the hot weather, that's been a boom for me. I've actually got my grip pressure up, which feels to me to be about 50% higher. And I've always been problematical with my grip pressure because I've always been too loose. And lots of times I can feel the club moving on the way down, or even sometimes at impact. But I'm actually very strong in the hands and wrists and forearms, so it's crazy for me not to utilise that strength. Now, contrary to popular belief, guys, it doesn't matter. If you can have the grip as tight as you like in your hands, it ain't going to change the flexibility ratio of your wrists. It doesn't do it. It don't do it. It really doesn't do it. That is a myth. You still have that range of motion. So here we are, we're really... Now the other thing, guys, remember back early on when we talked about the fanning action on the downswing, where the club went back and then we fanned it this way. Well, that'll help you with your throw. Don't lose sight of that. Go back to some of those early videos on Davinci and have a look at some of the things, because that will really give you a lot of speed in the golf swing. Mike Austin did that. Mike Dunaway did that. Dan Schauger taught that. Jacob Bowden. They teach this. That's a very, very powerful move. Very quick move. Yeah, guys, so they're just a couple of little points. Where do I feel the weight in the golf swing? When I set up, I feel some in here. It goes down the inside of that left knee. It's in there like that. I'm angled here, but I'm pushing this way a little bit. And then I'm pushing more on the downswing. I'm pushing more. on the downswing. So I've got pressure there, straight down there. Yeah, I feel it on the inside, and the inside of that that trail leg here. That's what I feel. It's what I want to feel there. If you can just hit some half shots, just getting the basic feel of the pushback. Now that's interesting. This shows how much you really need to be totally committed to your thought process every time you come up to a shot. Now I've just been talking about how quick I want the club to release. Now I didn't release it early, and I got the ball a little fat because that was the hit rather than that. Now guys, you've got to be committed to the thought process. It's just so important. I mean, you really won't get a result unless you think the result. It's such a pretty little shot. That really is a very, very early and aggressive release. Here. So you've got some pushback here, guys, look. Ball ain't going there, ball ain't going there. It just won't do that, guys. It cannot do that. How can the ball go over here if our shoulders are here? The club has to go where the shoulder line is. You'd have to be some sort of, you know, human being with quite an extraordinary range of motion. If you could have your shoulders shut there and you just fire the club around here, I couldn't do that. So it's basically preordained that you can't hit the ball here if you have closed shoulder line. I mean, you can't hit it over here. It's the same shot. It's that little soft, leaky draw. Just feathers out to the right and then it comes back. All right, now we'll really motor the release on this one. Really concentrate on this. That's 30 yards longer. And that was just, whoa, here. The fingers, guys. Remember the finger throw. Remember the wrist fire. Remember the pivot drive. Remember the rear drive. Now that is so conscious and so absolute in the way I hit that. That's a beautiful shot. A lot of commitment, absolutely a lot of commitment in that shot. Incredible amount of commitment. But that's what this is about. You have to think the result. Don't let the brain get off track. You have to think the result. And the smoother you can do it, the better you'll be. Or the better the swing will perform. Like that. See, that feels like half. That's gone crazy distance for a little swing like that, but that's like half speed for me. But because I've got time to fire that release, I get so much velocity in the shot. It's a simple golf swing, guys. Okay, guys, they're just a couple of points. I'll if I think of anything else, I'll put it on another video. I've got a couple of things I'm trying to recall that I said I've got to tell the guys about that, but I can't. So I'll take a break and then I'll come back and maybe I will have regurgitated the points that I want to extol to you. Okay guys.